Good morning. Okay, we are charging into the final plays. Let's say I've been spending a lot of time with the ball diamond. The final plays of the course, and you've just about reached your goals. So this is exciting stuff. Just want to first of all focus in on what you're doing this week. So we are in week 13, and this is Easter week, so it will. The dates don't really account for that, but I'm aware of that and tried to keep this week a little light on what you were handing in, but also want you to understand how important it is that you do get into your research pieces. And I want to talk to you about a few things with research. Before I get into that, the only thing you have to turn in this week is just a little reminder exercise from the Aaron textbook on plagiarism. And most plagiarism that I have experienced from students through the years is because students are rushed, or it's basically sloppy research. And honestly, even in professionals who have been busted for plagiarism, a lot of it comes down to a sloppy job in doing their research. So, what I really want to talk to you about today is, okay, you turn that assignment into me. It's more of a just a couple nice reminders of defining plagiarism and making sure that we all know that when you misquote somebody, that's technically plagiarism and so forth. But also moving beyond that into thinking about how can I organize my writing so that it is so I don't run into the risk of plagiarism. I'm going to show you a few things that I like to use. First, I'm going to show you on my computer screen. You'll see sticky notes. And if you're doing most of your research on digital information, in other words, if most of your resources are digital in nature, these are handy because if you have Microsoft Word, you just pull them up, you add a little plus, and you can do little notes as you go. You can use real sticky notes too. I do that a lot, to tab real pages that, or to even just mark things that I want to come back to. I also like, let me see if I have them handy here. If you can get a hold of some colored tabs like this, some people even go as far as to color code the main points of their research. There we go. See, look at those little bad boys. What if all of my points about my first topic are pink and the rest are green, and the third main point I'm making are orange, and then I can even write myself a little note on these just to make it a nice little skinny note. So these are things that you can use to just kind of keep track of your research. I think sometimes note taking can be exhausting. Note card systems can work, but they can also be very frustrating. Incidentally, sticky notes can also work as you're trying to organize your material, as you're trying to maybe break down pieces and parts and what goes in what spot. Maybe you even make a poster of your outline and start putting the sticky notes where they belong if you're more of like a kinesthetic or movement learner, if you like that chance to, if you get tired of the mess of, arrows and whatnot. Okay, so these are always, obviously, as you add new sources, add them to your works cited list right away, the one that you're sending me as you sent me as part of your proposal last week. Get that in the right format right away so that you're not doing the 4 in the morning figuring out how to cite a source. Okay, that's just ugly, and that's just a setup for plagiarism as well. And then, if in doubt, cite your source. I didn't say quote it, but do cite your sources. Even if it's something you probably knew beforehand about a topic. I once had a student write a paper, and the works cited said me, myself, and I. What was a little bit frightening is that he probably did know that much about his topic. What was more frightening was his topic was nuclear war or nuclear weapons, and he said, I just wrote it off the top of my head. It's just stuff I know. Well, that's great, but part of plagiarism, part of citing, isn't just giving credit to your sources, but also giving other people in the academic community, that's beyond this class, giving other people a place to enter into research if they're interested in one aspect of your topic. Where would they go? Well, how would they know unless you cite something? And since you're not published yet, you have to cite the other source, even if you already knew some bizarre fact about your topic. As you're researching, there should be, especially as you use the Ohio link website or the Info Ohio websites that I sent you information about that are in our library digitally here. There often is a place where it will cite the source for you, so it'll do your works cited for you. So that's a beautiful tool that you might want to find. And if you're struggling, I should have given you this last week too, but free site for both MLA and APA. There's several free sites. Don't ever pay for one of these. If it has you make an account, fine. But my go-to one is easybib.com, and that's a nice little site. Okay, so again, strategies for keeping organized. Some people like to use a 3-ring binder, or to keep like all their sources straight. If you're printing things off, that might be a way to go for you. I want to also show you a program that I use for my research. It's called OneNote. It's part of the Microsoft Office package, which many of you use. And this is my online pedagogy research. I do a lot of presenting and so forth about teaching online. And here's different colleges that I work with and professional development that we offer to different high schools. And anyway, as I collect resources, I put them in here, and then you can also create little pages to the side. And so I have like a page that is readings, a page of videos and audios, a page of presentations, and this isn't all complete, but you get the idea here. So this would be a way to keep track of your sources. You can dump them into these files very easily and then access them later. And a lot of times it's just keeping the source nearby in a way that's accessible. So if I was writing a research paper today, this would be my go-to tool along with sticky notes. Personally, you got to find something that works for you. I think I got very tired in high school of being told I had to do research papers using the note card method. If that works for you, great. It didn't work for me. I'm a big picture person. I do better off of a big outline where I'm plugging sources in as I go. Rather than looking at little bits of sources and writing lots of detail down. So, but I'm not eschewing the note card system. I'm just saying, this is your chance to to do some experimenting and rethink how you approach a research paper. By all means, if you've done research papers and they just really work well for you, keep doing what you're doing. But if you've had frustrations with your research paper process, consider using different tools to help you out along the way. And just be careful with keeping track of what sources you're using. I think the final, just a bit of advice I have as you start moving from the research phase into the writing phase is sometimes it feels like the writers are just so good it's hard to put it in our own words. Create some distance between you and your source, and just give yourself enough credit. You know how to write. You write well. And yeah, that study was written to the point where it was edited and actually published, your original source, but that doesn't mean it can't be said in another effective way, and maybe even more effective for the tone and audience of your paper. So be confident as you move forward in putting things in your own words, putting ideas in your own words, but if in doubt, give credit to the source as well. I think that's all I have for you today. Do look over the comments I put on your last papers, and maybe even previous papers, so that you are creating papers that show improvement. I think the synthesis paper threw a few of us for a loop. It's a little bit trickier, but the research paper is a giant synthesis paper, so it will be some heavy-duty thinking. Many of you, I recommended that you review the thesis writing worksheet again. If that worksheet was ineffective for you the first time, do look over the they say I say statements that we played with in the reflection activity, and those could be really good templates for thesis statements. Those could be all used, almost all of them could be used in your persuasive writing. I would say all of them could be used in your persuasive writing, and many of them could be morphed into thesis statements. Just to remember the big things with thesis statements: if you don't have a naysayer, if nobody disagrees with you, then you don't have a persuasive paper. In other words, if my topic is nutrition is important for children, that's not really persuasive. It's an argument, but because nobody disagrees with me, it's not going to be persuasive. We know that nutrition is important for children. Okay, good nutrition. Now, I could make it a little bit more controversial and say, Because genetically modified foods have impacts that we are not aware of, they should not be a part of any children's diet. Now we have um, a bit of an edge. Some of you disagree with me, don't you? In fact, I'm not really even sure I agree with that statement. So we have an argument. Now, to make it really clear what my argument is, if I'm taking that same topic, I'm going to write it down here since we're playing with this. While research is, while some may argue that the emphasis on eliminating GMOs from our diet is overstated, because we don't know the effects of GMOs, no child's diet or foods targeted at children should contain GMOs. Okay, now to make this even better, it'd be nice if I could add a so what statement. In other words, why does this matter? What am I saying should be done? And regulations should be established to require warning labels on such food items. So I'm thinking things like Lunchables or kid cuisine frozen dinners or fast food Happy Meals. Okay? And by the way, this isn't necessarily something I agree with. I'm just making something up that I know is a persuasive topic. But here's why this topic works. It's very long and thick, right? But this is a whole research paper. Here's why it works. And I would probably go through and like kind of recraft it and make sure the wording was very clear. But it has a naysayer. That's the naysayer. Okay, and I'm probably going to find sources that argue against my topic, and I'm going to use those sources and show how they're wrong. Okay, probably the first paragraph of my paper. I'm going to acknowledge my opposition, or second paragraph, because you have your intro first. I'm going to acknowledge my opposition, and then I'm going to tell why the opposition is wrong. Okay? Oops, I didn't highlight all of my naysayer. Okay, there's the naysayer. Then because we don't know the effects, is going to be probably one of my main points, right? Or maybe even 2 or 3 paragraphs worth. Which, by the way, as I start writing my paper, I might need subheadings to keep all the paragraphs together. I hopefully will remind you of that next week as you do more of your writing. There's another point right there, right? And finally, my solution about what should be done. This is sort of a problem solution. It's not straight up one. It's definitely persuasive. It has this. It tells me why it tells my readers why my topic is important. It tells my readers who disagrees with my topic so that we know it's persuasive, and it sets up some big topics for discussion, and that's what makes it a solid thesis statement. I bring this up this week even though you're focusing on research, so that as you look back at your proposal that you may want to tweak your thesis. And also I think it helps to, like I said, the color coding. As I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, oh, I could tab in yellow any source that fits my naysayer, in green any source that argues that we don't know the effects, in light blue children's diets, and in dark blue regulations for GMOs. And I think that this is a way that obviously could set up your research. So I wanted to just share that with you today, and I hope that that is helpful for you